I think there's one.
One Punch Man Season 3 has finally aired, and the bloody battle between humanity and monsters is about to begin. That troublemaker Garou is also preparing to evolve to a whole new level. The episode opens with a high-tension meeting at the Hero Association. Everyone is wide-eyed and slack-jawed because the mountain-sized monster, Elder Centipede, was punched into fried powder by someone, vanishing without leaving even a single whisker. No one in the association can believe this surreal scene, but they are certain that only the Boss King has enough prestige to create such a divine explosion. The whole council breathes a sigh of relief. Luckily, King is still the meta, otherwise, they would be doomed. But before they can celebrate, news arrives that the hero hunter Garou is causing chaos, and even his master, Bang, failed to settle the score. The group laments that if this hero hunting spree continues, the association might as well disband to avoid further humiliation. One executive speaks philosophically, suggesting they should treat Garou as a true monster. The next time he shows his face, they should sound the dragon-level alarm so citizens can flee. Another executive scratches his head, unable to understand what kind of human could be tough enough to take on S-Class heroes. Then, the whole crowd starts arguing noisily like old men playing chess. Clearly, Bang lost the fight, but he also left Garou severely battered, hoping he would stop being such a nuisance. A bald executive, full of aggression, demands they call Blast into action since he is at the top but is as lazy as a cat. However, another executive stops him, arguing that if a hero is forced to work, there is no more freedom. Right then, a voice interrupts. Now is the time. A billionaire whose son was kidnapped by the Monster Association is fuming, questioning why 24 hours have passed without any action. A man steps forward, declaring he will save the boy and that he is the commander of this campaign. Shortly after, Atomic Samurai and his 3 disciples arrive. This guy had been scouring everywhere since yesterday but still couldn't find the Monster Association's lair. Super Alloy Darkshine then remarks, "It's in the ghost town, where else were you looking?" Atomic Samurai's jaw drops as he asks, "How did you know that?" At this moment, the idol Sweet Mask appears and mocks Atomic Samurai, saying he shouldn't bring along his useless disciples. If they get killed, it's fine, but if they are taken hostage, it's a disaster. Atomic Samurai asks if he is going too, and the idol recounts how his concert was crashed by monsters yesterday. Atomic Samurai laughs back, mocking him by saying he'll tell his disciples to protect the young idol. Hearing this, Sweet Mask boasts that he stays in A-Class just to gatekeep, and he could move to S-Class whenever he wants, claiming he's many times stronger than Atomic Samurai. This comment makes the samurai red-faced with rage. Immediately after, Tatsumaki, Pig God, and Super Alloy Darkshine are summoned to the base. Tatsumaki mocks the association, saying they didn't call her just for something simple. The commander then opens a 3D screen, revealing that yesterday Drive Knight went on a solo investigation but lost his server connection and might have been taken out. Tatsumaki doesn't care and just urges them to call more people. Meanwhile, Child Emperor is hacking like a professional IT expert, working with the scout team to find the lair, but the area is too vast. Even at high speed, it would take 3 days while the deadline is only 2. Tatsumaki remembers the lair is somewhere in the ghost town of City Z and demands to just level the whole city to make it quick. A staff member has to remind her, "Ma'am, the hostage." Tatsumaki remains stubborn, but Sekingar pleads with her to use her brain a little, which irritates the big sister. Meanwhile, Pori Pori Prisoner has just been released. The head warden hated him for escaping so many times but finally had to let him out to fight. As he proudly leaves, his subordinates hand him a pink sweater, telling their big brother to remember to wear the one they knitted. At the association, Child Emperor kicks all staff out and calls Metal Knight, knowing he is eavesdropping. The boy says he knows Metal Knight knows the lair's location but won't speak. Metal Knight replies that if he reveals it, other people's lives will be affected, so he won't. Child Emperor doesn't understand why he's afraid. Metal Knight simply says Orochi ruined him with 1 hit and he fears other evil forces are still lurking. He warns the boy to be careful, not to trust those right next to him, and that if he wants to carry out justice, doing it alone is enough. At a certain building, the man whose son was kidnapped is furious, ordering armored men to rescue his child. In a corner, Zombie Man is observing, certain he has found the target. This is the safest house in the world, the home of the bald Cape Saitama. Today, Fubuki comes again to recruit Saitama, only to be confused when an unfamiliar old man opens the door. Entering the house, she becomes even more bewildered. What the hell? Why are there so many S-Class heroes here? After the battle with Garou, Bang, and Bomb, 2 old men with backaches and cramps came to Saitama's house under the pretext of recovering and refused to leave. Genos had just been repaired for half a day and was already broken again. King and Saitama are playing games as usual. When Saitama finally notices her, he asks what she's there for. Fubuki screams that the Fubuki group has been wiped out and this monster association is extremely dangerous. It's no time to climb the ranks. But Saitama just lies there, saying he just took a bath and dried off, so why should he go fight already? Fubuki furiously slams the table, summoning everyone to the main headquarters, as they have declared all-out war on the Monster Association. But now, the house is full of the sick and disabled, leaving Fubuki totally discouraged. Geno suggests he needs time for repairs, others need rest, and King says he has private business, leaving only Saitama and Fubuki. She is hesitant, not knowing what to do now that the association has acted. Bang worries that Garu might join the Monster Association. King then turns to gossip with Saitama about the hero hunter who's making waves. Saitama casually mentions he heard rumors on his way home about some heroes being turned into pulp. But then, Saitama's face suddenly darkens, radiating a murderous aura. He's not furious because he's worried about the heroes, but for a ridiculous reason, that guy hunted the whole city but dared to completely ignore me? Unforgivable. With that, he enters serious hero mode, puts on his cape, and prepares for battle. Everyone thinks the One Punch Man has located Garu and is going to carry the whole war, but his only goal is to hunt down that brat Garu and give him a beating for the crime of looking down on him. Meanwhile, after being rescued by Phoenix Man, Garu wakes up in a strange room. On the table is a recruitment letter from the Monster Association. Welcome to the villain team. We saved you, so sit tight and wait for order.
Hi. Yeah, I was into the show.
This place just might be haunted by something nefarious. Published by Humboldt Pet Supply in October of 2018, the store's security camera footage reveals a series of creepy incidents that cannot be explained. The first involves a package falling off a shelf on its own. The shop attendant continues to shelve items and then heads over to put the package back. A moment later, after she walks away, the package falls from the shelf again. This time, it also moves across the floor a bit on its own. Another clip shows a cat named Diego pacing the shop. An incongruent shadow cat appears in the light from the doorway. There don't appear to be any other cats in the store but the real and the shadow one. In the third clip, another package falls from its place and moves strangely across the floor. It drifts slowly until it catches Diego, the cat's attention. As the cat approaches it tentatively, the package moves, causing Diego to jump. The cat paws it for a second before he decides he wants nothing to do with this. The package continues across the floor on its own. Is this perhaps the shadow cat playing around with the real one? Seems pretty catty too.
I have to watch that. Heartbreaker. Vampires.
Is this proof that vampires
Yeah.
exist?
What up? Nice to meet you. What's up? How your night going?
Is this proof that vampires exist? 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 Is this proof that vampires exist?
Probably that nail came off of me.
It bites you and makes small incisions in your skin. Then it begins to lap up the blood with its grooved tongue. As it drinks, a special saliva enters the wound and stops the blood from clotting, allowing them to drink. The bat consumes just a small amount, usually about 2 tablespoons before flying away. And while they mostly target livestock, vampire bats do sometimes feed on human blood too. It bites you and makes small incisions.
Oh, I didn't put vampire TikToks. What? Vampire TikToks. Vampire TikToks.
I thought we were keeping that a secret. Are we sure? Okay, my turn.
Your mom a vampire? It's probably one of my most asked questions, so let's just ask her. Mom!
Hi.
Are you a vampire?
Does that make me a vampire?
Your mom a vampire? It's probably one of my most.
We all know of vampires, but I bet you've never seen a vampire in real life. What I'm about to show you next is gonna blast your brain. A vampire in real life. Oh, disregard that last picture. It's a real vampire. We all know of vampires, but I bet you've never seen.
Excuse me, can I ask you a question? Is there a song that keeps a memory of love alive forever?
Yes.
What is it?
Cupid's Arrow.
Cupid's Arrow by Chrissy K.O. Thank you. Have a great night. Excuse me, can I ask you a question?
Yo, what up, little Mike? You streaming? I'm not streaming the game right now. This was a few minutes ago. I'll probably end up streaming 2K pretty soon, yeah.
I saw this weekend probably
I only
the
one
most scary
one
video
game I
I've
think,
ever
but the
seen
rest
in
of
my
my team was
entire
pretty
life,
bad.
Nick.
Well, not all of them. We had a couple pretty just
So I
make
was
sure.
scrolling through the TikTok machine, and this woman, I swear to goodness, I thought this was fake. I'm not convinced that it's not fake. She was talking about this guy that she saw on the TikTok machine.
This is like Inception so far.
Yes, it's definitely like Inception. You're right. I'm looking to see what the name of it is. I might be able to get away with not. I might be able to put the clip in there. I don't know. I'll see. But the title of it was "Vampires Caught on Camera." R1.
Oh, man, but you hate vampires. I heard.
Man, oh man.
All right. All right, pull your hatchets out.
If I can't have you.
Booking.com has all kinds of stays because some want a house in the desert.
I say you streaming nuts. Oh.
Exactly what you're booking for. Booking.com.
Oh, yeah, I guess. I don't know what you're really saying, but yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna have to have that conversation with him. I'm gonna have to tell him that I'm literally a vampire. People think that being a vampire isn't real.
Well, guys, we are somehow back again. Today's video is one very similar to one I've...
Yeah. Well, I ain't really get back on 2K in a minute, though, for a while. You know what I'm saying? Try to get some more dubs.
I can't help it, Mom. I feel responsible.
If you could have helped him, you would have.
Hey, crybaby. Ooh.
Crybaby.
I feel like it's way more to Colombia than what I've done so far. I definitely gotta tap into that.
I know I'm just watching a whole bunch of stuff on TV. You watching? Oh, you watching Stranger Things? Oh no, I have not watched that. I try to get into Stranger Things, but I can't get into that. They ain't for me. I really can't get into it.
The sudden
Yeah,
UFOs
I
encounters
can't get into
possess
it.
passengers or shapeshifters on board.
I'm telling you right now, that back there is not real.
Sometimes it all just starts to happen unexpectedly.
They can speak. It's that speak. They can speak.
They experimented on him when he was a kid and turned him into a god. In the darkness beneath Tokyo, wealthy elites gather in an underground arena to watch monsters tear each other apart. These creatures are called players, artificial beings engineered to have no free will, only the instinct to kill. The fights generate billions in gambling revenue because the rich love watching blood sports. But one night, something goes wrong. A new player emerges from its containment cell and slaughters the scientist monitoring it. But instead of attacking blindly, it does something no player has ever done before. It speaks. It tells another player to turn on the spectators. The arena becomes a massacre. 13 players escape into the city and vanish among humans. During the chaos, a scientist named Kanzaki flees the facility carrying a child in his arms. His boss tries to stop him, but Kanzaki claims the child is his and disappears into the night. That child was never supposed to exist. The Amagi Corporation created players as entertainment, but they also created something else. A weapon designed to hunt and destroy the monsters they made. They called it ZET. But Kanzaki believed the child deserved to live as a human. So he stole Zet from the laboratory, gave him the name Jin because it means human, and raised him as his grandson in the slums of Tokyo. The Amagi Corporation has been searching for their stolen weapon ever since. Jin is now a teenager living with Kanzaki in Undertown, the forgotten part of Tokyo where the homeless and worthless are left to rot beneath the elevated highways. No running water, no electricity, no hope, just survival. He doesn't go to school because he can't afford it. He doesn't have a job because no one hires kids from the slums. So he's turned heroism into a business. When someone's being mugged or harassed, Jin shows up and offers to help for 10,000 yen. No money, no rescue. One afternoon, a woman gets cornered in an alley by 3 thugs who make it clear they're not taking no for an answer. Jin appears on top of a wall and offers to save her for his usual fee. She's so desperate that she agrees without hesitation. Jin jumps down and destroys all 3 thugs in seconds. He moves like he's been fighting his whole life, dodging their attacks by bouncing between walls and knocking them out with precise strikes. The woman is shocked by how strong this random teenager is. Moments later, a boy named Kuga shows up in a wannabe hero outfit, mad that Jin didn't call him for backup. He starts lecturing Jin about teamwork and procedures, while his younger sister Konoha tells him to calm down. Kuga is obsessed with a TV show called Alphas, about a superhero who fights evil and protects the innocent. He's been dragging Jin on patrols around the city, pretending to be a champion of justice. Jin thinks it's stupid, but he goes along with it because Kuga is his only friend. The difference between them is obvious. Kuga sees criminals while Jin sees people in danger. Kuga wants to defeat evil while Jin just wants to get paid because he understands something that Kuga's privileged life has never taught him. Survival comes first, and justice doesn't fill your stomach. When the woman tries to pay Jin, Kuga angrily drags him away because he believes justice should never ask for a reward. Jin is still yelling for his money as Kuga pulls him along. At the park, Jin notices Konoha has a bandage on her hand and shows her his own mark. a ring-shaped symbol embedded in his palm that he calls the Angel's Ring. Kanzaki told him to hide it from everyone, but he's showing them because they're his friends. Konoha says her bandage is just a scratch, so Jin tells her to put spit on it because his grandpa taught him that humans have natural healing powers. He doesn't know how wrong he is. Later that day, the woman finds Jin and pays him the money she promised. Her name is Akemi, and she gives Jin her business card while promising to buy him food sometime. Jin pockets the money and heads home without thinking much of it. But when he arrives at Undertown, something is wrong. There's crimson everywhere. The bodies of his neighbors are scattered across the ground, so Jin's heart starts pounding as he runs toward his house. Inside, Kanzaki is slumped against the wall with wounds all over his body. Jin doesn't understand what he's seeing, because he thinks everyone is just sleeping. He rushes to Kanzaki and tries to wake him up, promising to put spit on his wounds because that's what his grandpa always taught him. But Kanzaki sighs because he knows what he told Jin was a lie. Jin asks why everyone is sleeping, and Kanzaki tells him they're not sleeping. They're gone. Jin doesn't understand what that word means, so Kanzaki uses his last bit of strength to hug him tightly and deliver his final lesson. Violence is what put everyone in their current state, and this is the result he was always warning him about. Then Kanzaki stops breathing. Jin still doesn't get it because he thinks his grandpa is just tired. He loads Kanzaki's body onto a cart and drags it through the pouring rain to a nearby clinic, banging on the door and begging for help. The owner opens the door and demands payment, but Jin only has a handful of coins. The owner pushes him away and slams the door because he doesn't care about some homeless kid's problems. Jin pushes the cart through the rain, passing by houses with warm lights inside. He sees families eating dinner together, laughing, being happy. He doesn't understand the emotions flooding through his body because he's never felt anything like this before. He tries calling Kuga using the special phone they shared, but at the Amaji mansion, Kuga's father catches him with the phone and breaks it before Kuga can answer. The call drops on Jin's end, so it seems like his only friend ignored him in his darkest hour. Out of desperation, Jin remembers Akimi's business card and finds her. She immediately takes him and Kanzaki's body to the hospital without asking questions. When the detectives arrive, they recognize the wound pattern because it matches a serial attacker they've been tracking, someone they call the Wind Monster. Detective Sayama notices how destroyed Jin looks inside. He hands Jin a pendant that belonged to Kanzaki and tells him that when things get tough, he should keep his head up high because he won't find hope lying on the ground. Jin asks what hope is, so Sayama points to the room where Akemi is resting and tells him that she is his hope now. Akemi offers to take Jin in without hesitation. She gives him a bath, feeds him, and treats him like family. In the tub, she tells Jin to stop calling her lady and to call her big sister instead. She asks if he's ever bathed with his mom before, and Jin says he's never had parents, just his grandpa. Akemi hugs him tightly because she can see how broken he is. Jin feels a rush of emotions he's never experienced before, and he starts crying without understanding why, because the last time someone held him like this was the moment before his grandpa stopped breathing. But the nightmare isn't over. The next day, Jin and Akemi go shopping together. She's happy, and he's trying to be. But on their way home, a tongue shoots out of nowhere and pierces Akemi through the chest. The serial attacker has found Jin. He's a player, a chameleon-type monster who can extend his tongue like a blade. He reveals that he was the one who ended Kanzaki and everyone else in Undertown because he's been hunting Jin specifically. He can sense what Jin really is. Jin stands in front of Akemi to protect her, but the monster stabs him through the chest and tosses him aside like garbage. Before the monster can finish Akemi, she manages to knock him down, but he slashes her face and leaves a deep scar. Something awakens inside Jin. His eyes change and his hair straightens as lightning crackles around his body. The angel's ring on his hand starts glowing bright because something deep within him is responding to the danger. In an explosion of energy, Jin transforms. His body becomes covered in a black skin-tight suit with a mask-like face, making him look like a demon. The chameleon monster barely has time to whisper one word, charisma, before Jin launches at him and erases him from existence with a single strike. Jin transforms back to normal and passes out immediately because his body can't handle the strain. When he wakes up in the hospital, Akemi is alive. Her face is scarred, but she's smiling as she pulls Jin into a hug. For now, Jin has found a new family. Years pass and Jin is now a young man living in Undertown, still charging people 10,000 yen to save them. Akemi runs a food stall nearby and dreams of saving enough money to send Jin to school. But Jin tells her not to.
What's up? How your night going, my boy? How your night going? How your night going?
She responds by giving him a playful nuggie on the head. Meanwhile, Kuga has become the golden boy of the Amagi family. He's captain of his high school's soccer team, surrounded by adoring fans, and still obsessed with becoming a hero of justice like his favorite TV character, Alphas. At a formal party celebrating his achievements, a host asks Kuga what he wants to be when he graduates. He answers that he wants to be a hero of justice, and the crowd laughs because they think it's a joke. But Kuga isn't laughing because he means every word. He's assembled a team of former Amagi Corporation employees who believe in his vision. They've developed prototype gadgets and have been patrolling the city at night looking for crimes to stop. So when an arsonist starts burning buildings across Tokyo, Kuga sees his chance to prove himself as a real hero. The arsonist is actually a player who can generate and control fire. He's been burning buildings just because he enjoys watching things burn. Jin can sense when players are nearby, so he notices the fires too. Both of them arrive at a burning building on the same night. Inside, a family is trapped because the mother has been knocked unconscious by a falling shelf. Kuga calculates the risks and concludes they can't save everyone. So the smart move is to leave the mother behind and save the children. Jin ignores him completely. He picks up the mother, puts her on the bed with the children, and tells them to hold on tight. Then he carries all of them through a collapsed floor to safety, using nothing but willpower because he refuses to leave anyone behind. Kuga watches in disbelief because his calculations said it was impossible. Yet Jin did it anyway. But Jin isn't finished because the arsonist is still inside. The problem is that Jin left his special activation gum at home. This gum was developed by the Amagi Corporation to help Jin trigger his transformation without extreme emotional trauma. So without it, Jin can't transform on command. The arsonist finds Jin and immediately recognizes what he is. He transforms into his true form, a monstrous fire creature, and starts beating Jin down while taunting him about how players are superior to humans and shouldn't have to hide anymore. Jin tells him to shut up. The arsonist stabs him through the chest, but instead of going down, Jin feels his angel's ring activate because the pain triggers something deep inside him. Lightning surrounds his body as he transforms into ZET. Jin uses Kuga's fire extinguishing spray to prevent the flames from healing the monster, then engulfs him in a whirlwind of air that suffocates him completely because fire can't burn without oxygen. The arsonist is finished, but something goes wrong. Jin's heart beats once, then stops. He collapses as his pendant shatters on the ground because his body can't handle the incomplete transformation. Konoha picks up the broken pendant just as firefighters arrive. Jin is rushed to the hospital in critical condition. At the hospital, the press holds a conference praising Kuga as the hero who saved the family. His father uses the opportunity to promote the Amagi Corporation's technology. Kuga knows the truth. Jin was the real hero, but he stays
Yo,
silent
what
because
up,
his
yo?
father
How your
told him
night
to.
going?
Meanwhile, Kuga's grandfather Mitsugai learns about Jin's existence. He's the chairman of the Amagi Corporation and the man who originally created the players decades ago. He's been searching for Zet ever since Kanzaki stole him, so he orders his men to retrieve Jin immediately. Jin wakes up in a strange room and sees Akemi being held by a monster through a window. Jin screams for them to let her go. His angel's ring activates on its own because his rage is overwhelming. Lightning explodes around his body as he transforms and smashes through the glass barrier separating them. He fights the monster with everything he has, but his power is unstable because his transformation isn't complete. The monster beats him down while calling him weak and incomplete. Just when it looks hopeless, Jin's anger reaches its peak and he ends the monster with a single punch that shatters its entire body. But when Jin catches his reflection in a mirror, he freezes because a monster is staring back at him. He doesn't recognize himself. A scientist monitoring the fight explains the situation. Jin's transformation is incomplete and his cellular structure is deteriorating rapidly. If he doesn't defeat all nearby players, his body will break down because his Zet factors need to eliminate all threats to stabilize. There's one more player in the room, Akemi. Jin refuses to believe it and screams at Mitsugai's team to turn her back to normal. But before anything can happen, one of the bodyguards shoots Akemi in the head. Jin falls to his knees in despair. Then Mitsugai reveals the truth. That wasn't really Akemi because it was a clone, an illusion created to test Jin's emotional limits. The real Akemi is still alive, still running her food stall, completely unaware of what happened. Jin can barely process this because he's been manipulated, and his emotions have been weaponized against him. Mitsugai introduces himself properly as the chairman of the Amagi Corporation. He's the original creator of the players and reveals everything Jin never knew about his past. Jin was created in the Amagi laboratories as a weapon designed to sense and destroy players. The scientists called him ZET, but Kanzaki believed Jin deserved to live as a human, so he stole him from the lab and raised him as his grandson. Now Mitsugai needs Jin's help because the escaped players have been living among humans for years. Some integrated peacefully while others have been secretly attacking people. Jin is the only one who can track them down. Jin asks why he should help the people who created the monsters in the first place. Mitsugai tells him the harsh truth. Players can sense Jin just like he can sense them. As long as Jin exists, everyone around him is in danger because the players will hunt anyone connected to him. The only way to protect the people he cares about is to stay away from them forever. Jin is devastated, but he agrees to work with Mitsugai under certain conditions. He wants Mitsugai to fix Akami's facial scar and help her find the child she lost years ago. In exchange, Jin will become Zet and hunt the players. From this moment on, Jin abandons his human life. Mitsugai takes Jin deep underground to a place called the Forgotten Land, the ruins of the original player laboratory. There's a massive device there called the Ring of Exposure, which was used to force players to reveal their true forms. Jin's Angel's Ring is connected to it somehow, though even Mitsugai doesn't fully understand the connection. As Jin leaves the facility, he passes by Akemi's food stall without stopping. She feels something is wrong and runs outside, confused because she knows she was supposed to see someone. But Jin is already gone because he can't risk putting her in danger. Konoha arrives at the stall shortly after. She and Akemi talk about Jin, and Akemi gives her Kanzaki's pendant because she believes Konoha is more likely to see Jin again. Watching from the shadows, a man named Haitani smiles because he's been waiting for this moment for a very long time. 2 years pass. Jin has been training in secret at Mitsugai's facility. His body was scanned and analyzed to create special tools, a custom suit that fuses with his body during transformation, and special chewing gum that stimulates his Z-up factors so he can transform without emotional trauma. He's stronger now, faster, and more controlled. But his transformation is still incomplete because the scientists don't know how to push him to the next level. Jin moves back to Undertown and becomes a silent protector. He fights players in the shadows and never reveals himself to anyone from his past. The homeless people notice that violent crime has dropped. Turning people into
Turning people. Yo, what up, yo? How your night going?
Luckily, Palm Wonderful's antioxidants help defend against them.
Going up.
Real life is scary.
Just a six, thanks.
Protect yourself from free radicals with Palm.
Daily gift.
And remembers Haitani's words. Kuga dives. He focuses all his remaining strength into his sword. He swings down at Hanako and cuts through her player body. Sand explodes outward. Hanako's eyes widen as the life leaves her. Her body crumbles into a collapsing heap of sand. Jin turns and sees the woman he loves die in front of him. His roar shakes the building. He drops Haitani and rushes to Hanako's remains. Only sand and faint traces of her former shape lie there. Jin lets out a cry of despair that echoes through the hall. Konoha watches the scene and cannot believe what she sees. She understands that Kuga killed Hanako. Detective Sayama stands near her and feels the weight of what Kuga has done. He looks back at the bodies of Shizu and Amagi and sees that both wounds are from bullets. Amagi later confirms that Kuga pulled the trigger. She says that her son followed his own idea of justice to the very end. Haitani stands and wipes the blood from his chest. He looks at Jin and sees the emptiness in his eyes. He says that Jin finally breaks free from human hesitation. He continues to talk about how a heart that feels love only creates weakness. He says that Kuga killing Hanako removes that weakness, and that this is his reward to Jin. Kuga tries to speak, but Haitani kicks him down. Kuga's suit flickers, and several limiters shut down to protect his body. The team in the van shouts that his suit has reached critical damage levels. Konoha runs toward her brother. She tells him in tears to stop chasing justice and to stop fighting. She says that there is nothing left to protect if he loses himself. Kuga looks up at her with hollow eyes. Haitani laughs at the whole scene. He walks over to Kuga and pins him to the ground with one foot. He then turns to Jin and tells him to finish Kuga. He says that Alpha is the true enemy because he killed Hanako. Haitani hands Jin Kuga's sword and says that killing him will complete his change into charisma. Jin picks up the sword. His huge red form walks toward Kuga. Konoha screams and begs him to stop. Jin stands over Kuga with the sword raised. For a moment, it looks like he will obey Haitani. At the last second, Jin changes direction. He drives the sword into Haitani instead. The blade pierces Haitani's chest and pins him to the ground. Haitani smiles even then. He says that he gladly offers his life if it means that charisma is born. Jin pulls out Haitani's heart with his claws. Haitani's body weakens, but he uses his last strength to release 2 powerful slashes of light upward. These slashes hit the weakened ceiling of the building. The roof starts to collapse. Huge chunks of concrete and steel fall toward Konoha and Sayama. Jin and Kuga react at the same time. Jin uses his giant body to push aside the largest pieces. Kuga, even in his damaged suit, throws himself in front of his sister and deflects some debris. Together, they prevent the rubble from crushing the people nearby. Kuga's team sees from the readings that his body surpasses all safety limits. They know he cannot fight much longer. Jin stands still for a moment. His complete Zet form glows with residual energy. After the dust settles, Jin and Kuga face each other. Haitani's body lies motionless nearby. Jin asks Kuga if he only saves people when they are human. He refers to Hanako and the way Kuga killed her, despite her human past. Kuga answers that she is a player, and that she must die for the sake of humanity. He says that sacrifices are necessary in any war. Jin looks at him with anger and disappointment. He asks why Kuga never tried to find another way. He says that he will always try to save everyone without using sacrifice as an excuse. Kuga removes his helmet. His eyes look wild and unstable. He says that he no longer sees Jin as a hero. He says that a hero is someone who defeats evil, and now Jin stands between him and justice. Kuga declares that he will kill Jin because as long as Jin's angel ring exists, players will appear. Kuga charges at Jin. Jin easily dodges his attacks. He knocks Kuga to the ground with one blow and pins him there. Kuga gets up again, panting heavily. He switches his weapon back to gun mode and aims at Jin. Konoha cries and tells him to stop, but he does not listen. Jin stands still. He does not move to defend himself. His eyes carry a tired but determined look. Kuga's hands shake as he pulls the trigger. The shot rings through the hall. 3 years pass. The city returns to a strange form of normal life. At night, however, some players still appear in dark alleys. One evening, a player with twisted instincts traps a man between walls. Before the player can kill him, Alphys drops down in his white suit. He defeats the player with a clean strike. The man thanks him. Alphys tells him to call for help anytime he needs it. The news reports talk about the attack. They say that player incidents have gone down over the last 3 years. They credit Alphys for keeping the peace in the city. No one knows his true identity. Kuga now sits in the president's office of the Amagi Corporation. Papers and monitors fill his desk. Mayu enters the room with a smile. The two of them are in a relationship now. Kuga asks why she arrived so early since the company party is still hours away. Mayu laughs and says that she wanted to see him before the event. They mention the players briefly and hope that nothing will interrupt the party. Kuga remembers the final moment 3 years ago. When he fires at Jin, Jin moves at the last moment and avoids a lethal hit. Jin then knocks the gun away and pins Kuga to the floor. Jin's complete form starts to change even further. Wings grow from his back and a helmet covers his face fully. His aura becomes more violent. The sweeper senses that the charisma is about to appear. He moves toward the building. Jin raises his hand and prepares to kill Kuga, but something inside him resists. He screams and forces his own body to stop. The wings and helmet shatter into particles of light and vanish. Jin's form shrinks slightly but remains complete. He looks at Kuga, at Konoha, and at Sayama. He repeats the words Sayama once told him when he was a child. He says that people must keep their heads up high, because they will never find hope on the ground. Then he jumps off the building and disappears into the night. Kuga tries to chase him, but Mitsugai stops him. Mitsugai says that Jin still has the ring of exposure, but that Kanzaki's teachings keep his heart human. He says that Haitani fails because he cannot erase Jin's humanity. He explains that players are born with the instinct to kill, and that he and Kanzaki tried to use that instinct to destroy the other players. To do that, Kanzaki had to raise Jin as a human being who understands love and empathy so he can control his own nature. Back in the present, Kuga looks out over the city. He wonders if the players lie low because they fear alphas or because they fear Jin appearing again as ZET. Mayu tells him not to worry and says that everyone sees alphas as a hero now. Kuga asks her what she thinks justice is. She answers that, for her, he is justice. In Undertown, Konoha and Akemi hand out food to the homeless. They stand side by side like they once did with Amagi. The people thank them. Detective Sayama arrives and greets them. He asks if they have heard anything from Jin. Konoha shakes her head. Akemi sighs and says that Jin could at least call once. She notes that only Alphas is recognized as a hero since that big battle. Sayama says that he has not given up on looking for Jin. He asks them to call him if they ever see Jin again. Konoha looks up at the night sky and wonders where Jin is now. Later that night, two young women approach a couple of men in a dark alley. The girls act friendly and flirtatious. The men try to get closer to them. Suddenly, Jin, in a ZET form, drops down in front of them. His angel ring shines brightly and releases a pulse of light. The two girls scream as their human disguises melt away. Their bodies twist into player forms. Jin attacks quickly and kills both players before they can react. The two men run away in pure terror. From the shadows nearby, a thin figure watches. It is Haitani, who somehow survives in a damaged state. His eyes narrow as he observes Jin. At a construction site elsewhere in the city, Jin stands alone. The sweeper appears behind him with his glowing sword. He tells Jin that the Master of Evil wants to speak with him. Jin warns him that his angel ring will force the Master to regress if they meet. The sweeper says that he still wants the meeting because the Master is concerned. He also warns Jin that Kuga might be as dangerous to evolve as Jin is. Jin nods. He understands that the world is still fragile. He leaps off the edge of the building. As he falls, he activates his angel ring and transforms into Zep once more. His body glows red in the dark sky as he heads out to hunt any players who still threaten the city.
Yeah, that was a good anime too, though. I ain't gonna lie, the anime was good. Yeah, it's crazy though.
Talk about your aura ring.
Yeah, I kind of want one.
So you've probably been waking up every morning excited to check my stats, and you're like, oh my god, wait.
Okay, I need to dispel this rumor that I'm connected to your ring, because I'm not. I don't. Someone said oral ring. These no. I am not connected to your stats. I can't see what you're doing.
Right.
Hold on, my cat. 1 second. Okay, now you can ask me the question.
If you could look at my stats,
If I could look at your stats, would I?
that picture is insane. How dare you?
I can't take you seriously every time you text me. I told myself I was gonna change it, but I keep forgetting.
Make me look like a man. Hello?
You are. But if I could check on your stats, I would.
Weed.
Images sometimes crop up on Google Maps Street View that are incredibly suspect. This Google capture is a bit more supernatural. Publishing.
Yeah, I might get on some 2K in a minute. What time is it? Oh man, run some 2K in a minute. Here though, these foods selling. Oh, saying selling. Selling. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, son. You know what I'm saying, y'all? You know what I'm saying. I wouldn't chop it up with y'all for a minute. I'll be back though. I got on today, but no. This one back. Oh, there now. I know what. You know what I'm saying, y'all? You know what I'm saying, y'all? I'll be back later on with another live. Just want to chop it up with y'all and see what y'all doing around with the family. Love y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night. Love y'all.